Family and Friends 4, Unit 15 book. Good news, bad news. Unit 15. Good news, bad news. One boss, 2 office, 3 builder, 4 vet, 5 journalist, 6 secretary, 7 dentist, 8 receptionist, 9 mechanic, 10 author. Listen, both of you, your dad has something important to tell you. Well, when I was working this morning, the phone rang. It was my boss. I had to go to his office. I was a bit worried. But they were smiling when I went in, and that's because I've got a new job, a better one. Great, Dad. There's some good news and some bad news. Oh no, what's the bad news? You'll have to change schools and say goodbye to your friends. Huh, really? And the good news is that the new job is in Australia. You will go to school with your cousins. So we'll all be together again. Yippee! Past simple and past continuous. When I was working, the phone rang. They were smiling when I went in. When can go at the beginning or the middle of a sentence. Use a comma after the first verb if a sentence starts with when. Examples: I was eating when he arrived. When I was eating, he arrived. One, I was waiting at the library. The author came in. 2, he was walking to work. He fell over. 3, the secretary was typing. Her boss phoned. 4, the footballer was running. It started to rain. 5, the mechanic was repairing the car. The customer arrived. Speaking, I was waiting at the library when the author came in. He was walking to work when he fell over. The secretary was typing when her boss phoned. The footballer was running when it started to rain. The mechanic was repairing the car when the customer arrived. When I was waiting at the library, the author came in. When he was walking to work, he fell over. When the secretary was typing, her boss phoned. When the footballer was running, it started to rain. When the mechanic was repairing the car, the customer arrived. Grammar, homophones, there, a place, or to say what is present. Example, there is some good news and some bad news. They're short form of they are. Example, they're very happy. There shows possession by more than one person. Example, they will be with their cousins. The family are going to Australia. Look, there are 6 suitcases. Max and Holly have a suitcase each for their clothes and special toys. They're a bit nervous about living in Australia because everything will be so new and different, but they're very happy too because their cousins will help them. Together, they'll have lots of fun. They're nearly there. There's a boy and there's a girl. They're going to see their cousins. They've packed their bags. They're nearly there. They're going to see their cousins. They've got their passports in their bags. They're going to see their cousins. They're as happy as can be. They're going to see their cousins. One, see 2, see 3 here, 4 here, 5 where, 6 where, 7 right, 8 right. Read and repeat. What can you see? I can see a boat on the sea. Can you hear some birds? Yes, they're here in this tree. Where do you wear these clothes? I wear them at school. Which hand do you write with? I write with my right hand. Right. Excuse me. Where is the bus station? We went to the beach and swam in the sea. I can write some lovely music. Here is your passport. Three wishes. Once upon a time, there was a poor fisherman. His wife was often angry because he didn't catch many fish. One day, while the man was fishing, a little fish suddenly jumped into his net. "My wife will be happy now," the fisherman thought. "We can eat this fish for dinner." But to his surprise, the fish spoke. "Please throw me back in the sea," it said, "and I will grant you 3 wishes." The fisherman was amazed. "Great," he thought. "I can make my wife very happy with 3 wishes." He quickly went home and told his wife about the fish, but she wasn't pleased. "Fish can't talk, you silly man," she scolded. "Now there is no fish for dinner." The fisherman felt disappointed and looked at his dinner of bread and water. "I wish we had sausages instead of bread and water," he said. Suddenly, 3 delicious sausages appeared on his plate. He was overjoyed and started to eat. But his wife shouted angrily, "Why didn't you wish for something better, like money or gold? You silly man. I wish those sausages were on the end of your nose." The fisherman looked down at his nose and screamed. To his horror, all the sausages were now hanging from the end of his nose. His wife tried to pull them off, but she couldn't. They were stuck. In the end, the fisherman sighed and said, "I wish the sausages would go away." And with that, the sausages disappeared. Now, they had neither sausages nor any more wishes. The fisherman never saw the fish again. One fisherman, 2 speak, silly, 4 surprised, 5 sausage, 6 delicious, 7 wish for, 8 whole. My first wish is for a computer because I want to have a fast and reliable way to study and complete my tasks. My second wish is to visit a rainforest because I love nature and want to experience its beauty and learn about the diverse animals and plants that live there. My third wish is for a long vacation because I need time to relax and enjoy some peaceful moments without any stress. You. Are you on your own? No, I'm with my brother. Why? You can play with us. Do you want to play basketball? Thanks, but I don't feel like playing basketball today. Maybe chess? Sure. I love chess. Let's play. Great. By the way, my best friend is off school today. Oh, that sounds fun. Maybe we can all play frisbee later. Sounds good. Or we could try a skipping game too. Yes, let's do both after chess. Awesome. Let's start with chess then. Look, this is me with my husband, Len. These are Len's parents. Look, she is my mother-in-law and he is my father-in-law. The man with black hair is my brother, Henry. He is standing with his wife, Jane. Henry and Jane have got 2 children. This girl is my niece, and the boy is my nephew. His name's Patrick. Grandma and Grandpa are visiting. Lucy and Peter ask their mom, "Can you help us make some smoothies for Grandma and Grandpa?" Peter chops up a banana and puts it in the blender. Mom says, "Now you need to get the milk, Lucy." So Lucy pours it into the blender. To help her, Mom puts the lid on. When the smoothies are ready, Lucy and Peter take them into the living room. "Are these for us?" ask Grandma and Grandpa. "Thank you so much." This is the man who climbed the volcano. This is the lake, which is 40 meters deep. This is the girl who won the race. This is the new library, which opened yesterday. Exercise 5. Right. I was watching TV when my aunt arrived. She was laying the table when the phone rang. When he jumped, a fish jumped out of the water. When I was printing my homework, the printer stopped. They were eating lunch when Lucy dropped her glass. Exercise 6. Complete the words. Can you pass me my towel? I am a pupil at Woodview Primary School. This dress is the latest fashion. My maths homework is to practice subtraction. The Gold Rush, California is one of the most famous states in the USA. It is the home of Hollywood and cities like Los Angeles and San Francisco. But until 1848, San Francisco was only a tiny village with a few hundred people. Then something happened. People found gold there. Between 1848 and 1855, over 300,000 people traveled to California to look for gold. This time was called the Gold Rush. The Gold Rush started when James Marshall, a man who worked in a mill in California, saw little pieces of shiny yellow metal in the river. He was very excited to find out it was gold. The mill owner tried to keep it a secret, but soon people found out about the gold and started arriving in California. They came from all over the world. Some were Americans, but many came from places like China, Mexico, Europe, and Australia. The people looking for gold were called prospectors. Many traveled by ship and some traveled overland on horses and wagons. At first, many people found gold and became rich. They found it by panning for gold with a big pan. They put water and small stones into the pan, then shook it. As gold is heavier, it went to the bottom of the pan where the prospector could find it easily. Looking for gold was very hard work. The prospectors lived in tents and cooked on fires. Life was very difficult and many became ill. After a few years, most of the gold from the rivers was gone. Then most of the prospectors found very little gold and were very poor. When the gold ran out, everyone left the camps and tried somewhere else. In fact, there are still some empty towns in California from this time. There are lots of empty buildings, but nobody lives there now. One example is Bodie in California. Tourists can visit it today to find out more about life during the gold rush. But the city of San Francisco grew and is now one of the biggest cities in the USA. It is thanks to the gold rush that the city became so successful. Gold rush facts. People use their old ships to build houses. Today, you can still see old ships below buildings in San Francisco. Children play panning for gold games at parties. Exercise. Read again and write T, true, or F, false. San Francisco is a village now. False. The gold rush happened in China. False. Some prospectors came by sea. True. No prospectors became rich. False. King Midas and the Golden Touch. Long ago in ancient Greece, there was a king named Midas. He lived in an enormous palace with his wife and his daughter. King Midas was very, very rich. He had more gold than any other king in the world. His palace was full of gold statues, gold jewelry, and gold coins. But Midas was greedy and he always wanted more. One day, the king was walking in the garden of his palace with his daughter. She was picking yellow flowers for her room. "Those yellow flowers are very beautiful," King Midas said, "but gold flowers are more beautiful." The king's daughter ran back into the palace with her flowers, and the king walked alone. Then Midas made a wish. He wished that everything he touched became gold. Soon, he touched a flower. It became gold. He touched a tree, and it became gold. He touched a plant, and it too was gold. "My wish has come true," he shouted. The king touched many things in his garden and in his palace. He touched pictures and vases and plates, and they all became gold. Soon Midas was hungry and thirsty, but when he put some bread in his mouth, it turned to gold. And when he put some water to his lips, it also turned to gold. The king sat in his garden. "I have all the gold in the world," he thought, "but I cannot eat and I cannot drink. What shall I do?" At last, the king's daughter saw her father in the garden. She ran to him because he looked so sad. She touched his hand, and suddenly she became gold too. King Midas made another wish. He wished that he could have his daughter back and that he would no longer have any more gold. Suddenly, all the gold was gone, and his daughter was playing happily in the garden. King Midas had learned his lesson, and he never asked for more gold again. Exercise 3. Read again and write yes or no. Does King Midas have a lot of gold? Yes. Does King Midas want more gold? Yes. Can King Midas eat the bread? No. Does this story have a moral? Yes. Exercise 4. Ask and answer. Do you enjoy stories like this? Why? Yes. I enjoy stories like this because they often teach valuable lessons about greed and the importance of appreciating what we have. What is your favorite story from your country? My favorite story is, it teaches Marie Curie. Can you imagine a world without X-rays? X-rays let doctors see your bones, so they know if you have a broken arm or leg. X-rays exist thanks to the work of a very important scientist called Marie Curie. She discovered radium, an element used in X-rays and treatments for cancer. Her work was so important that Marie Curie was the first woman to win a Nobel Prize and was also the first person ever to win 2 Nobel Prizes. Marie was born in Warsaw, Poland in 1867. She was the youngest of 5 children. Her parents were both teachers. Science and maths were her favorite subjects at school. As her father was a maths teacher, he could help her at home. When Marie left school, she wanted to be a scientist, but the family did not have enough money for her to study. She worked as a teacher to earn money and read science books in her free time. She had to wait 6 years to have enough money to study. Finally, in 1891, Marie went to study physics at a famous university in France called the Sorbonne. In France, she met her husband, Pierre Curie, who was a famous scientist. They worked on complicated experiments together, and during these experiments, the new elements were discovered. A talented family. As well as the achievements of Marie and her husband, Pierre, their daughters, Irene and Eve, were also very successful. Irene, the older daughter, also became a famous scientist and won a Nobel Prize for chemistry. The younger daughter, Eve, wrote a book about her mother's life. World War I. During World War I, there were not enough X-ray machines for the hospitals. Marie Curie made X-ray machines that could move from hospital to hospital in a truck. These trucks were called Little Curies and helped over 1 million soldiers during the war. Safety. Although radium is a very helpful element, no one knew at the time that it can also be very dangerous. Nowadays, people are much more careful. Marie Curie did not wear protective clothing and often carried radioactive materials in her pockets. Sadly, Marie died in 1934 due to too much contact with the element. She will always be remembered for her excellent contribution to science and healthcare. Exercise 3. Read again and circle the correct word. Marie Curie was born in Poland. Marie and Pierre had 2 daughters. Eve wrote a book about Marie Curie's life. Marie Curie's parents were teachers. Exercise 4. Ask and answer. Do you like science? Why? Yes, I like science because it helps us understand the world around us and leads to important discoveries that can improve our lives. What do you want to do when you grow up? I want to be, insert your dream job here. Because, reason why you want to pursue that profession. Robots. Most people have seen films or TV programs with robots in them, but can you imagine a world with real robots? Would you like a robot to cook your dinner, clean your house, or play football with you? There is a robot that can do these things. Its name is Asimo, and it is from Japan. Asimo is the most advanced robot in the world. It is the first robot to walk and run like a human, and it can even climb stairs. The robot can run at 6 kilometers per hour, about the same speed as a fast child. Asimo can also recognize people's faces, their names, and can understand their commands. This robot can respond to what you say and can learn to speak any language. Asimo has arms and hands, so it can open doors, carry things, and turn lights on and off. Asimo can help old people or people with disabilities by doing jobs around the house. Asimo can also play sports and other games, so it is very popular with children. In fact, Asimo is the same height as a 10-year-old child at 1.3 meters tall. The robot also looks very friendly and playful. 3. Read again and write T, true, or F, false. Asimo can run like a human. Robots will put out fires. True, robots can think and feel. False, robots can't make cars. 4. Ask and answer. Would you like to have an Asimo robot? Why? Yes, I would like to have an Asimo robot because it can help with housework, play games, and even talk to me. What films with robots have you seen? What can the robots do? I have seen Transformers where robots can transform into cars and fight. I've also seen WALL-E where the robot cleans the earth and takes care of a plant.